Howdy folks, this is the segment on the tool holder, the Quorn tool holder, and if you'll stay with me for the next few seconds or a few minutes, you'll see that all the steps involved in the machining. It's kind of interesting because I did this in the mill versus the lathe, so I'll show how I did that. I tried to keep it brief. I'm really thrilled with the fit I got, both on the 1-inch bore up here and the 5/8 inch bore on the bottom. If you'll see, I went ahead and did this instead of a split cotter. I slit the casting, and the reason I did that is because I had purchased this 1-inch bore or 1-inch diameter spindle for ER25 collets. I have a set of ER25 collets that I bought for the mini mill, and I thought that'd be pretty handy to have and use inside here instead of having to make innumerable different collets for that. So that's why I did it that way, and if you'll stay tuned to the next segments, you'll see the various steps. I made a couple of mistakes, and I'll point that out in the little segments that you'll see following. And overall, the next thing after this, I need to make it's a collet, which with a reverse face and then a hand piece here that has the degree marks on it and a knurling. So I'll be making those things next. I'll also need to make the little spring detent that goes through here. So I'll cover those. I'll probably do like Maddie and cover those in a brief thing. But overall, I'm fairly pleased with how this came out. And I think it was a great learning experience to make that first. Lessons I learned on making that I will apply to making the 5C collet tool holder here, which that'll be up next. So thanks again, everybody. Welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you for your interest in the project. Oh, one more thing. There is a gentleman whose YouTube channel is F-Cleff, F.CLEFF, and he shows that he just released a video this week where he shows close-up of using the Quorn, an actual Quorn that he built, for sharpening a lathe tool. And there's a lot of close-ups on his example of the tool holder. So I highly recommend you check out F-Cleff and look at his website. All right, thanks again, everybody. Stay tuned for the machining steps, and I will keep you posted. All right, after that long introduction, just wanted to show how I have drilled the hole, spot faced on top. I went ahead and machined these parts flat as well. Probably end up grinding them off. And I drilled the hole, the 5/16 inch hole, milled a flat here, 1/8 inch flat for the bolt, and drilled out the hole for the 9/16 inch split cotter, and it's glued in place. So the next steps will be on the mill, and I will keep you posted. Okay, not really an action shot, but I'll throw in some still photos. I put the little disc on an arbor after I drilled the holes. Now I need to switch it around and have the center hole. It's 3/4 of an inch right now, so it'll fit on my arbor, but I need to switch it around and bore it out to 1.25 inches. All right, here's the completed 1/8 inch steel plate. And if these countersinks look a little close together, they are. They're an inch, about a little over 1/2 inch off center, 0.550 apart actually, so 0.275 off the center line there. And they needed to be because it's a strange thing. My casting, if you look at Maddie's workshop videos, of course his was a solid piece here. It didn't have this little artistic thing in it, and it didn't have cores either, which made more material for him to remove, but it made it a little bit easier in a way because there was less, made it easier for him because he had a solid casting basically there. So this thing, I measured the width, and that's about as wide as I can get those holes to be. So tomorrow I'll start milling. I'm going to do it a lot like Maddie's, and I'm not going to take every second of it on video, so I'll just do the highlights like I've been doing. Okay, just like, well, similar to how Maddie Maddie's workshop did his machining, initial machining of the tool head, excuse me, of the tool holder. I've done mine in the mill. I did the backside first, and as you can see, I've got it on some parallel, an I-beam type support, and I've got it in there with blocks. I also used brass and some smashed down copper pipe. Makes really good ways to hold castings inside steel vise jaws like that. So I'll take it out, and then the rest of the machining is going to be done from the other side. This side's finished. I got the 1/2-inch step in there. And here we go. I am not a professional at boring, that's for damn sure, but I'm really happy with the fit I got. I took it really carefully, and so I've got the 1-inch bore done here, and I'll attack the 5/8 inch. Actually, before I move it, I'm going to try to see if I can reduce this diameter. I'll bring you back for that. Okay, everybody, the holes are bored, 1-inch, 5/8. I've also drilled and reamed a 5/16 inch hole here for the spring plunger, and drilled and tapped 2 440 screw holes here. Turns out I probably didn't need to worry about the distance as much as I ended up doing. But next, my idea is, now that I've milled this relief here, I milled an 1/8 inch slot, basically, a relief in it. My idea is that I can use the boring head in reverse and cut the 1.25 inch diameter. We'll see. I'll bring you back for that. Okay, that experiment worked pretty well. As you can see, I have the boring head on. I've got the cutter facing backwards. I had it in low gear, and I ran it in reverse so that, well, I ran it in forward actually, so that it was, but with the low gear, it's reverse gear. So anyway, I'll turn it on so you can see what I'm talking about. That's about how fast I was cutting. I fed it manually, and after making that relief in the center part there, I was able to cut this nice rim there that, as you can see, the guide plate fits on just perfectly. I need to probably need to relieve this area a little bit more. I'll get the milling cutter out. It wouldn't set down all the way because I've got this block in the way, but you can see that it fits just right. I can feel it with my, excuse me, my finger. It's just the right depth. So I'm going to put the boring head away, and I've scribed a little line on here. You probably can't see it, but I'm going to relieve that with the mill, and really excited about this. Sharp-eyed viewers will note one thing that I did wrong. The 5/16 inch hole is actually supposed to be 1 1/16 inches from the center, and the 2 tapped holes are supposed to be 1 inch down. I made them all exactly the same. Don't think it's going to make any difference, except I will, excuse me, I'll have to remember to make that adjustment when I do the pitch circle diameter on the little hand wheel. But other than that, pretty stoked about how this thing came out. Okay folks, here's the tool holder as it stands on Saturday night. Really pleased at how this came out. Only thing I'm really aggravated with myself is that I should have made that 5/16 inch hole just a little lower. I don't think it's going to affect the function, but you can see this is the hole. I think it's 5/32 over here where the pin comes through, and you know, it would obviously make sense if that was just a teensy bit lower, but not a big deal. This fit with the 1 inch bar here is so good. I really hate to split this casting, so I'm not going to do that tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. But this thing fits good. This plate, let me show you. Let me set it up here on the rotating base itself. So I need to take that split cotter out and split it, and so I can clamp things together with it. But man, pretty excited about how that all came out. So just to recap, the part I was worried about was, could I do all this in the mill? And yes, I could. I didn't need to take off that much material down there at the base, but this is a snug fit on the ring here, and the 2 screws will hold it in perfectly tight. I'm really not worried about that at all. So I'll bring you back when I split the back of it, split the side right along here where my thumb is. Like I said, I hate to do it because this is probably the best boring job I've done so far. This fit. Oh well. Hey everybody, I'm going to do this as the last segment on this. I split the casting, and that went okay, although it's at an odd angle, and I don't know exactly, well, not real pleased with that, but it's not really going to affect anything. Just, you know, like to have it be perfectly parallel, but anyway, here's the back bolted on. That all looks good. I went ahead and drilled the little hole for the pin. I relieve this area under here. I think that'll be sufficient. Not sure yet. I need to make the knob and everything there, but pretty excited about how the tool holder has come along so far. Definitely learned some good lessons that I'll be able to apply to the 5C tool holder. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this, and I'll publish this video as one, probably be about 10 or 12 minutes as it is. And just like Maddie did, I'll maybe do a separate video on making I need to make the collet and the nut, and of course the index wheel here. So I'll have to do those things, and then this thing will be pretty much wrapped up. But thanks again, everybody. Welcome to the new subscribers. We appreciate you, and let me know if there's any questions or comments. Appreciate all the support and the interest in this project.